thing is they got that drawn off the music going in the background.
They have the who? Oh yeah. Well, it usually ain't gonna drown out the live. Ooh, the live. It's not gonna drown out the live. I'm gonna see if this. You gotta give me a second. I can only do one thing at a time. How is your video? How's your audio?
I mean, it's probably picking up.
I just want to put some. Yeah, I'm gonna do this right on camera because this is just how we go and work it today. I know. Because I know last class I had a lot of shine going on, and nobody told me all the shine that was going on my face. Nobody said that. Or y'all gonna stop having me looking crazy when I'm on Facebook. Y'all gonna tell me when I look crazy and when I look tired. Because I looked tired last week. There we go. That looks a little better. Here. It's Amor's. Let's get situated. We got nationalities that we're working on.
I don't have a picture.
I'll take a picture. It'll be at the end of
Will this be good or?
Who's this? Okay. Who's this? Did they get an info sheet?
For the picture?
Bear with us. We're getting things together.
I mean, we met at the library.
This one here?
That's for you.
Yes.
You did both? Did you get your phone? Oh.
Yeah.
Where can I
got the
order
phone
this
picture.
from?
Probably some information on
I had to just straight.
Oh, okay.
We had to go. Y'all gotta let us know if the sound is good on this live feed before we go anywhere. We're going to do sound check because I ain't gonna waste my time and do a video if nobody can hear me. So we're gonna do a sound check, make sure everybody can hear the live broadcast. And today it's on the Allodial repossession of your Moorish estate. That is the topic, and I hope everybody has a copy of the grid. And if we don't have a copy of the grid, did you bring copies of the grid? How many?
I think enough.
Oh, break them babies out. There's a new one, right, with the colors and all that? Good. Good. Everybody needs that because y'all got to start repossessing property, claiming property. Because the next phase, everybody's going to go through the foreclosure soon. All the properties are going to be, you can hear Islam. Well, a couple more sound checks on the sound before we even attempt to start banging that ass. I just say it. I'm sorry. I know some people are sensitive to my language. What'd you say? My licks? What? My leaks. All right, these are for him. Info sheets in order form for your nationality identification card. All right, so complete that out. We'll have all that sealed up. Sounds good? That's because I'm on my new phone. This is the phone that I had to replace because Michael Donahue, who stole my stuff, wouldn't give me my phone back. So I had to go through the insurance. And then it was funny because when I went through the insurance, they were trying to deny my nationality identification card. So a Sharon, like I was telling you guys last week, got liens. And when I called them back a week and a half after the lien has been sent and processed, they accepted my nationality identification card and I got my cell phone in the mail a couple of days ago. So I just want to let you guys know the way this changes for us all and the way we demonstrate is going to make it easier and completely the resistance that we're feeling now because they're going through an exorcism of the loss of their independence, let's say. So July, even though they're going to front and act like they got something to be celebrating, it's the morning of their Declaration of Independence because of all of the violations that they have been still doing to our people every day today. So bear with me. We're going to be doing some paperwork and in the middle of that paperwork, but while we're getting situated, Moors, I need you to download the Moorish American Consulate grid and outline so we can all be on the same page in the questions you need to ask in regards to the repossession process. And I'm also going to give you a recap on what I talked about, the demonstration that I had yesterday with the Upper Darby Police Department and the neighbor who called them, whose lien is processing today, her lien on her property, her lien on her straw, and the repossession of her property for calling these individuals she knows are mercenaries and are not lawful law enforcement. So we're going to go through that process so you know how to reclaim your Moorish estate and the proper way to do it. And don't think that just because you might have an experience where somebody might say that they're not going to adhere to certain jurisdictions, they have no choice. It's all acting. They have no choice. They have to get in alignment. If they want to still remain at Morocco, they have to get in alignment. There's absolutely no choice. We're peaceful Moors, just reclaiming our lost, our stolen estate, and we're doing it in administrative processes until, in every procedure, we're going to amp it up a level. We got to keep amping it up a level, and we're going to talk about the level we're amping it up this week as soon as I get some situated documentation here today. And if Fatima would be lovely and pass out the... You did? Well, did I get a copy? Because I don't even know where to my grid. I never have a... No, I don't need a copy of the grid because I'm going to download it, upload it from my tablet. So I'll have it. So I'm going to go to Facebook like I send everybody else and upload. So I'm going to go to the group. And I'm going to go to the file section. Why is it? It does this to me. Go to the file section of the group and go to... Why does it do this? Sometimes it don't let me click on the group. It's funny as heck. Are you going to let me click on the group? Or maybe I click on it that way. I got through the back door because it was acting funny. Peace, 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 Kimberly Islam. So I'm going to the file section and I'm going to find that document. And if you go to the file sections, all of the affidavit templates are in the form of MACN-A for affidavits. MACN-A for affidavits, and it's followed by a 3-digit code, 3-digit number. So for instance, but we'll go to the affidavit of Allodial secured land property repossession written statement, which is the very first document that you want to download that is a part of the repossession process, is MACN-A014. That's MACN-A014. That's the very first document of the repossession of your Moorish estate, Islam. But I'm right now specifically looking for the MACN-R followed by 9 6s. That's MACN-R followed by 9 6s. And I'm going to that and I'm downloading that. So everybody go to that down file and have it ready to talk about and to answer questions and ask questions. I've gotten at least 20 or 30 Moors who've already requested MAC numbers in regards to MAC record numbers in regards to the Allodial repossession process, and we're going to go through that. So definitely send me send me text message. You'll get a quicker response. I'm telling you, send me emails. It might get lost in all of the hundreds of emails I get on a day-to-day basis. So always send me a text message for that, for the record numbers, and I'll give you the record numbers. So the record numbers are going to be in blocks of 4 for each property. For each property, you, what's the word I'm looking for? Claim. So for instance, what's the number? What number? You gotta complete your thoughts, Moors. You can't say what's the number, because I said a lot of numbers just a minute ago. I didn't say my cell phone number, but I said the number of 2 templates. Specify your request. Islam. Where's Fatima? Why are you all the way back there? Oh, she hiding, y'all. Oh, she hiding, but she's still in the camera. You in the camera, Fatima. Say hello. to text you. Oh, you want the phone number. So all you had to do is say the appropriate way to ask for a request. So I know what you're saying is to say, Sharon, what is the cell phone number to send the text to request the record number? See, when y'all come at me correct and y'all come at me accurate, you get a quicker response. Because if I gotta decide what you talking about, it's gonna take a minute. Okay? So it is 610-803-1170. That is for nationals, as well as anybody who's going through the repossession process in regards to foreigners who are squatting or occupying land. Islam, if you're getting requests for Moorish American nationals repossessing your property, it is in your best interest to start the move out process. That first notification is literally your 30 days before eviction. So that's gonna be, so if you are getting, you can call in too, because this is all lawful de jure governmental practices, and this is us peacefully removing you from specific areas by the sovereigns of the land, which are the Moorish American nationals. Okay, all right, where we at? How you got me over here with all this? Who's this? Fatima. I don't know what this is. Somebody gave me like one sheet. I don't want to butcher it and put the wrong person's appellation on it. Yes, I so did. I did. I so did. It is hot. I'm going to record these at the end of the broadcast because I want to keep all of the information, and everybody got their grids out. And where's your grid? Oh, she got it on the computer. There we go. Grids. You don't have a grid, but you sharing with your consorts. Where's everybody else? I felt like there was more people here. Did Aneb bounced out because he was hot?
No, he went inside to get something.
Islam more. So does everybody have their grids up and ready? Does everybody have their grids? Put a hand up and say a smiley face if you have your grids up and ready. Look, everybody's sitting here being nosy. Look at all the Albions walking around. All the Albions walking around. What's going on? What's she doing? Y'all want to see the parking lot? Where we at? I'm going to show you. Let's see how to switch this. I'm going to show you where we at. I think a Neb is blocking my light. The thing is blocking it? Oh, okay. Okay, there we go. You got better. You see what's going on? So you know it's a lot of activity where we at. A lot of activity where we are. And yeah, it's a lot of activity here. So you know, the Albion, this is where they love to come and chit chat. You know, on Sundays they ain't never in the house. So they wanted to shut down the library. We'd have been in an enclosed environment. But you know what? To be honest, they need to pull up some sheets and see what's going on. So when they do get those orders, they know to vacate. Islam. Okay. Here we go. Islam. Alright, so I got it on here. I am going to pull up. I wonder if I have that. Is she really going to sit there and talk right behind us? Really? Oh, we're going to have to make her feel uncomfortable. We won't have to do that. All right, everybody got their apps out. I mean, their documents out. Islam, Fatima, what's up? What?
I'll get it. I'll figure it out.
Wasn't that number 14, y'all? That was number 14, secured land title. Islam. So has everybody got their grids up and running and ready? Oh, it's a Word document. All right. Where's it at? Oh, it's downloading it. So if you go to the last page of the grid, or the second to last page of the grid, it's going to show you the grid in tier format. So the first tier over to the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and then the eighth tier. Now, yes, I want it to be my default. So, when you are when you've picked out the property that you're looking for, the first part of that is finding the properties that you want to convey back into your Moorish estate, because all land fixtures, filings, and everything has been already reconveyed and made back into the Moorish National Republic Federal Government in a document called the Land and Title, which is, let me see which one it is. If you have your grids in front of you, in Tier 8 is going to tell you all of the commands and directives from the Moorish National Republic Federal Government and the Moorish American Consulate. And the grid, the document that conveyed it back is WMACN Affidavit and Command MACN-W followed by 9 nines. So that's MACN W followed by 9 nines. And the name of that allodial document is Affidavit of Land Title America Amexum. So that document reconveyed and titled all land at Morocco back to the Moorish National Republic Federal Government and the Moorish American Nationals. So that's the first document that already conveyed it back to the sovereigns of the land at Morocco, where everybody think is the United States of America, which it is not. So that document, if we want to go to it, because I like to really hone this in, because this video feed is going to be specifically about that. Change at, okay, I don't want to do all that. I just want to do what I'm working on. So I'm going to go there and download that and read that to you. Okay? I should have everything open, but you know. And if you want to go download it, again, that document is in the file section, but also remember or recall that I'm going to start sending email bursts out. And I actually sent a link to a Dropbox, console, a neb, Dropbox, where you can download all of those documents at once in a zip file and download them to your hard drive. I put that in the Facebook group, the Moorish American Consulate NE Amexum Facebook group. So go down there and find that link. Well, actually, it's an announcement. That link is an announcement, so if you click on it, you'll be able to go and find and download those files directly. Islam, so you won't have to kind of go to the file section and try to find things. And everything is numbered appropriately, so it will make it easier for you. All right, so this file, this affidavit is the Affidavit of Land Title America Amexum, and that document reads as follows. We are the Aboriginal and Indigenous Moorish American Nationals, the true and the de jure natural Americans, Al-Moroccans of the divine and the divine heirs of the land. We are the descendants of the great pharaohs of Kemet and of the ancient Moabites and the Canaanites. We are in proprio persona juris, in proprio solo, in proprio heredis, and we are exercising all of our rights at this time and at all points in time. Title number is MACN-R followed by 9 nines. Date of heirship is ancient time immemorial. Status, Aboriginal, Indigenous, Natural, Allodial, Ecclesiastical titled, parcel, all land and natural resources at North America, South America, Central America, and the adjoining islands. Title value cannot be measured. Dominion and inhabitation. That specifically outlines in detail and geographical and degree locations of all of the land being reconveyed back to the Moorish National Republic Federal Government. The mineral value can't be measured. Parcel category, natural, prime, allodial. Parcel value cannot be measured. Court of title, the Moorish American Consular Court of the Moorish National Republic Federal Government. Judgment, the Treaty of Peace and Friendship 1786, 1836, and the Constitution for the United States 1786 and 1836, and all land mandates to which the Moors are part and parcel. This title is a natural creation and it is owned by the Moorish American people of the Moorish National Republic federal government. This title is not subject to any interest, exceptions, taxations, legislations, codes, statutes, pledges, or reservations of any corporation. The rights of the heirs by birthright and bloodline are unalienable and inalienable. This title cannot expire. The Moorish American nationals are the owners of this title and the heirs of the land. This title is non-transferable. All corporate deeds, corporate claims of ownership, corporate rights claimed, and all corporate land documents are hereby abolished and unlawful. All who occupy the said lands are subjects of the Morocco, and all tribes, taxes, and other payments in gold and silver backed lawful tender are now due to the Moorish American National. And that's the end of that land title. So if you're going along with me over the grids, going through the grids, you're seeing that those numbers at the end in Tier 8. Tier 8 is going to be very, very useful as you go through this outline and complete the documents and have the supporting documentation that you need by checking the boxes in the beginning. And we'll go back to section because the repossession process is Tier 6. The repossession process is Tier 6. So Moors, make sure you have 1 through 4 completed, and it's not that difficult to have all of those already completed before you get to land repossession. And as I stated earlier in Facebook Lives, I've already said in Facebook Lives, look Moors, you have to, the grid is more for you. It's administrative processes for Moors to read or to gain knowledge on how to act as sovereigns of their said land and how to acquire property, the allodial, lawful, de jure process. Islam. So Tier 1 is the nationality process, okay? That's the nationality process. Tier 2 is the declaration of your sovereign Moorish trust. Because once you declare and proclaim your nationality, the trust has to be done next, because everything that you possess or that you transfer is going to be transferred into from trust to trust, from trust to trust. So for instance, all of my tribe that think that they're families, because only slaves have families, all their property is conveyed into my private Moorish trust. Now, once they declare and proclaim their nationality, that property that they domicile at will be transferred back to them once they've established their allodial, Moorish allodial private trust. Islam. So Tier 1 and Tier 2 is very, very important. The right to travel is Tier 3. The right to travel is Tier 3. So realize that process should be completed first as well, because all of your conveyances unlawfully have been titled to the corporate state of whatever corporation you're domiciling near. And you have to reclaim it and take it out of their trust and put it in your trust. And that is Tier 3, what that whole process is about. Tier 4 is removal of de facto court cases to the Moorish American Council of Court. There's 2 processes you can complete. You can complete the notice of removal process, and you can complete the affidavit of fact, writ of discovery, which is MACN-A followed by 020, adverment of jurisdiction, quo warranto, which is 21, and affidavit of fact, notice of default, which is affidavit 22. Now, my suggestion is to include the liens because some liens will be able to be all done on one document, sometimes they won't. So when you go and you file those 3 documents, document 20, 21, and 22, with that so-called fraudulent de facto case, also put on the record the liens on them, because then it's on the public platform. Tier 5 is the national human trafficking process. I did a video last week about this in its entirety, and this tier kind of coincides with Tier 4 because a lot of our people are being unlawfully detained and kidnapped by these foreign, unlawful, with no authorities, human trafficking our people into these POW camps. And these documents here is what you'll send along with the nationality identification information to those facilities. Tier 6 is the allodial possession of property. Tier 7 is a listing of all of the affidavit templates that you will need to complete every process in this Moorish American Consulate grid and outline. And Tier 8 are all the command and directives given from the Moorish National Republic Federal Government and the Moorish American Consulate. So those two tiers will keep expanding as we add and replace processes within the Moorish American Consulate. Islam. So always remember, the Moorish American Consulate grid and outline is for you, Moors. It's for you to gain knowledge on how to claim your lost or hypothecated estate. Islam. So if we go to Tier 6, we're going to go through the process that I've done, as well as the process that all other Moors have to do, and it's an administrative process for claiming your hypothecated estate from the corporations claiming to be government. Now, I also Islam Tariq, I also downloaded or posted on my page the 18 USC 911. I'm going to repeat that, 18 USC 911. And 18 USC 911 states what? I'm going to go to that because it's important that I do. So give me a minute while I find it. And if somebody can post it, that'd be great as well. I'm going to go and find it, y'all. Because it wasn't that long ago that I posted it. Here it is. I found it. 18 USC Section 911. Citizens of the United States. Whoever falsely and willfully represents himself to be a citizen of the United States shall be fined under this title or in prison no more than 3 years or both. So I posted that, and I sent this down so Moors know that there's no such thing as a United States citizen. There's no such thing. There is absolutely no such thing as United States citizens, and the land of Morocco has no citizen naturalization process. So there's only two ways you can lawfully be here on this land. One is actually being a Moorish American national, or an undeclared Moor, or a subject. If you're not one of these two, you are an alien or an immigrant. And that's everybody. There's only one American, and they look like me, and they have copper color skin. They did not come from Europe in the 18 or 1600s. And just because you were born, or your mother was born, or your mother's mother was born at Morocco, does not automatically, in any lawful proceedings or process, give you status here at Morocco. Islam? So I'm going to clarify that, and there's no such thing as white persons. There's no such thing as white persons, okay? And if you read the definition of white persons, you'll come to know that that is also a hypothecation of those claiming to be unlawfully white, who are immigrants and aliens from other places, not from here. Islam? So we're getting back to the grid. Okay, I gotta go back up here to find the grid here. It took me out of the grid, I gotta go back. Alright. So the allodial process of repossession, Islam, ipso jure Moorish subjects. And they already know that. Alright, the first document for the repossession process is MACN-A014. That's affidavit number 14. Affidavit number 14 is the affidavit of allodial secured land property repossession, written statement, document, and word format, because you have to manipulate this document. The supporting documentation underneath is what goes with this secured land property repossession document are the 3 supporting documents that are listed below. I think it's 2 supporting documents, and again, you can find them in these different places. It's not difficult to find. So the supporting document to go with the affidavit 14 is right below it. So it's making it very simple for you to be able to execute this process. Now, if you go to the actual document, it's very simple. It's a very simple document to complete. You got to go to the so-called county assessor's website in order to find out who is claiming to own property. And let me get this clear to you, Moors. Nobody with a so-called deed from a corporation can claim ownership to property, because that corporation has no authority to issue any documents of ownership, because they are a corporation and they have no sovereignty and they have no status here besides their corporate functions. So what am I saying? I'm saying they have documents that are fraudulent, that do not denote to any claims to any Moorish estate. So all of the processes that people have been going traditionally to claim land has been a hypothecation, because no corporate state can issue you any deeds of interest in land they have no authority over. Did you get what I said? So pretty much what I'm saying is that if you got a deed on your property, it doesn't mean anything. It's just a useless piece of paper, and you've been unlawfully occupying that land. And if someone comes who's a sovereign with lawful writs of execution and writs of repossession in their Moorish estate, and they are within their allodial national status, their claim supersedes any of your claims, and in a lawful body you would be dead in the water, because you can't claim something when 1, you have no status to be on that said land, and 2, no authority that comes with it. And like I said, these corporations have been frauding the whole continent with a presumed contract and a presumed authority and a presumption of some sort of government, none of which they are. And if you watched any of my previous videos, you will absolutely positively know what constitutes government, which is what? We can do the recap, but I don't want to go too far off base. The recap is this: a government exists based on the people. The people exist based on the government, which is a conglomerate of actual sovereigns. So you have to be sovereigns of the land, meaning the Aboriginal indigenous sovereigns of the land, to establish a government. And for that government to have standing, it will have a state. A state is what? A state are people in their sovereign capacities establishing, because they have the authority to establish. So you can't claim to be a state, you can't claim to be a government, you can't claim to have sovereignty if you don't have status. And to claim status is to declare and proclaim your nationality. Everybody else are subjects or aliens. Subjects or aliens, and we went through those definitions, because an alien is what? Do we really got to go through that? Do we really got to do that again? No, I'm going to make you go open up your Black's Law Dictionary and read what an alien is, what constitutes a government, what constitutes a state. Everything out of its sovereign capacity is corporate, and based on those corporations, the charter will let you know who authorized it. And if it was an individual who is an alien or a immigrant, and no Moorish nation or state authorized its existence, it's what? I'll let you ponder that. So you go find land that you want to repossess, property you want to repossess. Once you find the property, you go to the county where they recorded the last presumed owner, because they're not an owner, because they can't own anything through that process. It's an unlawful process because it wasn't sanctioned and it's not being overseen by the sovereign. So everybody that thinks they have a land, that thinks they own something, you absolutely own nothing, and you better get your grid done so you can actually say, this is my state over here, And it be actual factual, and you can back it up with actual documents, and it's not hearsay. Because Moors, we don't know by being told, we know by doing and researching and becoming competent in our demonstrations. Islam? So the part that I want to say to you is, okay, so once you find the property, you go to the county, you find out who's claiming to own that property based on the county websites, which is public knowledge as to who is claiming ownership of the property. For instance, the individual that domiciles next to my Moorish estate, which is 1111 Yesser Amor by the state, is Joan. So Joan is next door, right? And let's use no, I'm just going to use the name Joan because I like the name Joan. I want to use Joan. So Joan is an immigrant and an alien. She's an immigrant and an alien because she has no status of standing and she's squatting on Moroccan soil. And because of that, her property can be conveyed in Islam. But if a Moor was to domicile there, then you too would have to come up with an agreement and it be profitable for y'all to come up with whatever agreement. But like I said, if you don't want to sell your home to or transfer or leave, and you are a Moorish American national, nobody can challenge or qualify that. But again, we're not talking about Moors, we're talking about unlawful immigrants and aliens. All right. So you find a property, you go to, can I repossess my own property that I have a mortgage on? Let's be clear. Helen, you don't own that property. That property is being utilized, hypothecated by whatever county you don't, whatever so-called commonwealth or state, corporate state that is claiming ownership of it because you have not actually done the due diligence to claim it yourself, and you got a unlawful contract through a mortgage and a deed through a corporation that had no ability or authority to give you that. So in order for you to, yes, you can repossess it, but you're going to go through some resistance. But absolutely, the first domicile you want to claim should be the one that you domicile in. That's the first one, because the mortgages are fraud and so too are the deeds. Islam? Yes. Where am I at, y'all? I'm at the first document. All right. So once you go to the tax assessors, you find out who's claiming ownership, because you got the property address and you got the name of the hypothecator claiming to own the property, right? So that after you find out that information, Islam. After you find out that information, the very first thing you want to do is start affidavit 14. Where'd it go? Did it kick me out? I think it kicked me out. It kicked me out. I gotta open the document back up again. But I believe it's document 14. That's the first document per, yep, document 14. You see how easy this is going to be to get it completed, because you got a claim right now. You gotta get it done more. You just gotta get it done. And I'm gonna talk to you about the process that I went through that we had yesterday. Y'all got copies of your grid? The Moorish American Consulate grid and outline? I don't know how it just kicked me out of the document. Somebody had suggested me create links. I think it was you, Bree. Was it? No, it wasn't you, Bree. It was Marissa. Look, you asking a lot. I done already created a grid, but that's a great idea. But eventually it'll have links. Once we get the website up, it'll probably be linked to the website once I get all of the documents uploaded onto that. Give me 1 second. I don't know how it locked me out. All right. So if you have a copy of Affidavit 14 up, Affidavit 14, the 2 section is where you're going to put the presumed current owner based on the county information that you went and investigated. And then from that, you'll already have, because the mailing location is the residential location. Islam, you own nothing as a straw man. Yep, that's true. You own nothing as a straw man. Allodial is the only way to claim what is yours. And you can only do that in your proper status Moors. That's why nationality is very important. So the 2 is who's the presumed owner, and the mailing location goes right underneath it. If you have the phone number, add the phone number. If you don't have the phone number, leave it out. And then most of the information, all of the information is self-explanatory, and all of the red sections tell you what to complete. So once you complete this document, And you put, the most important thing is to make sure your contact information is on here, including your phone number, as well as the latitude and longitude coordinates of that location, because those so-called residential addresses are corporations in and of themselves, and they also need to be liened. You're going to lien the so-called presumed owner. You're going to lien the property itself because it is a corporate address. Islam? I was like, so the 4 record numbers you're going to need for each property you repossess is 1. It's going to be a record number for the affidavit of allodial secured land property repossession. 2, the lien for the presumed owner, as well as the lien for the mailing location corporate address. Those are 2. So that's 1 and 2. So that's 3. And then the last record number you're going to need for the actual title itself, because you'll be creating the title. And I think the template for the title, even though it's in the group, I don't think that it's in the I don't think I templated it. I thought I did, but I don't think I did, because when I was looking through, because it's supposed to be clear, perfect, allodial title, I didn't see it. But it's there in the group listed under without the MAC number, so I will create that MAC number. It'll probably be the very last one, MACN-A027. So I'm going to, because I was in the middle of tiling up the corporate address of 38 North Harwood Ave. That's being titled up and repossessed as we speak. I actually had to do this class, which is why I didn't finish it, but it'll be going out in the mail tomorrow. So once I finish that, I'll template it and upload it to the file section, and it'll be added to this grid. So if you want to add it to your grids that you have written down right now, add number 27, 28, and then put MACN-A027, and that is the allodial clear and perfect land title template. Islam? And when you title your name, there's a section that says now known as the title name. So now your title, which is the title to your Moorish estate, needs a title, which is the allodial version of a name. So we're not going to use names, we use titles. So my property that I've conveyed back from back to my Moorish estate is under the name, the title of my trust, which is the Sharon Moabite Estate Trust. So that is now all of my property that I convey into my trust is titled under that, and they usually will have a numbering system. I'm just going to stick with 111 for right now, so when Moors see it, they know, oh, Sharon titled that property, because everybody at this time should know Sharon's trust is the Sharon Moabite Trust. Islam? Where is my So just make sure you go to I think it's latinlong.com, or it's .net, not sure which one. And you put the corporate address in there, and it'll give you the latitude and longitude coordinates of your property. And if you don't want to give it a title because you don't know what it is, like I say to everybody, convey all of your estate, your property, and title it until you feel like titling it later. Just title it under your Moorish estate. Your Moorish trust. So whatever you titled your Moorish trust, title all your property the same. So when people go search, they know where to go if they want to, let's say, do business with you. And keep in mind, we do not give interest in property in Moorish estates to any immigrants or aliens, because they have to get subject paperwork to have validity and standing. Therefore, we can't contract with anybody outside of status. It's not, you can't do it. It's impossible. Just like how you have presumed contracts now that you think are lawful, you can't do it. Because if you watched the class where it talked about how to live within contracts, and knowing when a presumed contract is absolutely not that. And ignorance of the law is no excuse. So once you become competent in the law, you can kill any presumed contract by just standing on the fundamental elements of contract law. Islam? So the first document is document A14. So once you complete document A14, you print it out, You sign and seal it. You have your witnesses sign it. You make multiple copies. Make sure you PDF a copy to your records, as well as once you finish that document, upload it through email. I don't know what means. Once you upload it to PDF form in your computer, make sure you email it to me so I can add it to the record of the Moorish American Consulate and the Moorish National Republic Federal Government. These are multiple avenues as well as recorded, but we're going to talk about that in a minute. So if you go back to Tier 6, now you finish document 1, document 14, affidavit 14, and you have the supporting documents based on MACN report 119 and 120. Oops. So those, along with the cover letter, which is also in the grid outline, goes with those 3 documents. So this is the first step, and you give them 3 days to rebut these claims. So if you go to Tier 6 in your grid, I'm going to talk to you about the documents. The documents needed. They're right here. Supporting documents that are to section number 2 under Tier 6. The supporting documents that go with your affidavit of allodial secured land property repossession written statement are 119, which is the religious corporation affidavit of organization of the Temple and the Moon and the Sun. The declaration of your private trust. The affidavit of clear, perfect allodial title. 120, which is the affidavit of cancellation and abolishment of all land patents. The affidavit of default notice of non-response, as well as the cover letter for the affidavit of allodial secured land property repossession process. Now E, the notice of default and response should go down to the next section. That is not supposed to be in that section. It's supposed to be in the section below. So disregard section E on this because that goes to the next one. Okay? That goes to the second part of the repossession process. Because the first section is the notifications of the individuals who currently domicile or squat in the house that you are challenging their presumed claim on the on your Moorish estate, and you're giving them the chance to rebut. Non-rebut affidavits stand as fact. Non-rebutted affidavits stand as fact. So if they do not rebut, they automatically are saying, I have no claims on this land. I am not putting in any counter or rebuts. Therefore, just by their acquiescing their position and giving you and letting you know they have no lawful standing or status to be in that domicile, and you can continue with the process of repossessing it. Okay? So I'm going back to the grid. So once you do this, once you do affidavit 14 and you attach all the supporting documents, you do 2 original copies. You do 2 original copies and you save them. 2 original copies and you save them. All right, let me get rid of people that don't need to be here. And let me tell you, I don't got time for Moors that don't know what's going on and are very, very ignorant. If you can't be competent in your comments, I'm just going to block you until you say, Sharon, can you let me back? And then I'll let you back. I will block you if you leave comments of ignorance and unclarity, because I don't got time. This is for the active Moors. This is for the Moors that are not cowards, that are not in fear, and that are not scared. If you have those issues or your conversals, I'm putting your butt in the sandbox to go play with the other children, because we don't got time for you. Just know that. I ain't got time. So the first tier in the repossession process is that. Is the affidavit 014, the supporting documentation, and then you're going to send it to all of the individuals listed in the instructions of the repossession of allodial property. And what are some of those individuals? Good question. Who are some of the people you're going to CC? Because this is all public notification. You're going to upload it to your Scrib account, a copy of it to your Scrib account, so it's in the public forum for anybody to challenge your claim. on the property. So if there's somebody out there that thinks that they have a claim, this is giving them the opportunity, the public notifications, to claim the property. It's going to give it to you, automatic. Uploading it on there, recording it with a recorder of deeds as well. What else? Upload it on the file section of the group, as well as there's a lot of Moors with public notification pages on their website, so you can do it there. Some people post it in the newspaper, their claims onto that estate as well, to give everybody opportunity to rebut it. You can put it on you can put it on YouTube. You can just read it out on YouTube and then share it everywhere. There's a multitudes of ways to put it in the public forum, and the newspaper, to me, is so elementary at this point that I would never even waste my fiat on putting it in the paper, because Facebook is good enough, YouTube is good enough, Scribd is global, so you're putting it everywhere. And no, foreigners outside, they're not claiming property because they know it's all getting seized up by the government. And why should they pay? Think about this lawfully. Why should you pay? Think about this, y'all. Why should you pay a corporation that no longer has jurisdiction and no longer has standing to even be completing deeds on a property? Why would you pay them and they can't, and you have no claim? I'm just saying, y'all. So y'all sit here and go to these so-called sheriff sales. Y'all sit here and go to these so-called realtors. They cannot give you allodial possession of property. They can only give you hypothecation and fraud. So stop going there. I'm telling you now. Okay, I don't know. Okay. All right, where we at? So, you're going to send it to who? I'm just going by thought. The first you're going to send to is the presumed owner and the individuals domiciling or squatting in the property. That's one. The county sheriff's office, because they're supposed to be in the know as to who's doing what, because if they are constitutional employees at this point, constitutional employees, they have to uphold the Constitution and all its principles and protect the people, which is us, y'all. Ain't nobody else. The Moorish American nationals, because there's no such thing as a citizen of a corporation or a citizen of the United States. It doesn't even exist, in 18 USC 911 tells you that. It's just telling y'all, we have all the ammunition to do what? Y'all want me to say it? Bang that. Bang it. Islam. Bang, bang, bang. Who used to say that? Who used to say bang, bang, bang? Who used to do it? Who? Bam, bam, bam. Who was it? John Witherspoon? Bang, bang, bang. So that's the first process. And also, who else? The police department that is within that is near that domicile you're repossessing. Why? Because you're letting them know you no longer have jurisdiction where this property is concerned, and if you come out, if you interfere like they did yesterday, you are going to be liened. We're not playing with any aliens or immigrants on our land that have no jurisdiction when confronted or dealing with the Moorish American nationals, who now know you've been playing them for about 100 years. You've been playing them, and now the game's on you. That's the funny part. Now it's on you because you have no claims. And on the 4th of July, you're going to be sitting here that's going to be the celebration of the downfall of your nation. We're going to have barbecues on the 4th of July, but it's going to be with the Moroccan flags, not those banners of admiralty, because let me tell you, if I see any property with those on it, I'm confiscating y'all's first, because that automatically means you're warring with the peaceful Moorish American nationals, because that banner represents things that you are not upholding, pledges you're not upholding, because if you were upholding them, you wouldn't have created a corporate enterprise of the human trafficking of the Aboriginal, Indigenous, sovereign Moorish American nationals. I'm just saying. So we've already told you to take them down. We've already told you to do that. I wouldn't put them up. I would not go to any fireworks celebrations, because I'm just going to take a picture like, yeah, get that one, get that one, get that one, get that one. I want to just start posting domiciles with flags. Yup, all the ones with flags, take a picture of them, because they're going to try to take them down later. We need to know who the conversos are. We need to know who the aliens are. So go and take the pictures. Yep, we told you to do that a long time ago. You should have got the memo. And think about it this way. So the first, who else was the people that we needed to mail to? Current presumed owner. County Sheriff's Office. Mayor. Chief Police. Because they need to know they need to stand down when dealing with Moorish American nationals, and we are not sovereign citizens because we read and we are competent and we know the law and you don't. And ignorance of the law is not going to stop us from from leaning you. And then let me tell you, some of those liens going to automatically say, yeah, I want that person deported. Don't give them subject paperwork. And if any alien, immigrant, falsely and fraudulently claiming to be a white person or an American and you don't have the color to go with that, you're automatically getting deported because that's treason. You're automatically getting liened because that's treason. Automatic. If you call the Policy Enforcers Department claiming to be law enforcement, that which they're not, we had a class a couple of weeks that told you what a law enforcement agency is. It follows the law, not codes. That's why you're seeing all these so-called police vehicles turning from police vehicles to code enforcement vehicles, both of which are unlawful at Morocco, where you don't have any authority or jurisdiction unless we give you delegation of authority here at Morocco. And in addition, there's a couple other, but you got to read the instructions to go in a little bit deeper with all of the other places that you're going to send. So it's going to be like 8 places that you're going to send it to in addition. Okay? I think like it's going to be 8 total. Islam? And this is just the due process. Me, I scribed everything because with Scribd, I record all of my stuff on Scribd under their record numbers because when I send out documentation, I send the links to them. So I'm not attaching too much to them. I'm sending them to the Scribd account to download them themselves. But the publication is out there for public consumption for to get it, and I'm not spending all that fiat to get it to where it needs to go. Islam? So they're usually going to get a notification, and they're going to be required through their legal department to download that documentation and adhere to it. And there's news articles showing you that people are committing suicide. Certain individuals of law enforcement agencies are committing suicide. I'm going to tell you what that is. That is when we do liens, y'all, it's the death of a corporation. It is the death penalty of a corporation because they can't adhere to those liens because they don't have no fiat. They don't have no lawful money. They don't have lawful money, and because of the hegemony that they're under, they're stuck in between. So the subject paperwork, boards, we got to vote on some stuff. So we get into the point where we're going to have to really start voting because as a nation, we vote on how we want to handle things. And we have to have uniformity. But Moors, y'all got to get competent and get these damn grids done like I keep telling y'all. Got to get the grids done. Because the grids is going to show you how to be competent in demonstrating on your land. And it's going to dissipate the concerns, the fears, which are false information appearing to be real, that you're having. Knowledge is the only thing you can replace fear with. Knowledge is what you replace it with. Once you're knowledgeable, the fear will go away. I'm telling you this as an individual who's gone through those ages of exorcism, as Taj Trick Bay would call it. So that's that process. Where we at, y'all? Okay. Any questions yet? Any questions on the process? You got questions on the process?
Yes. Has anyone been successful on property that's not their personal house?
When you say, has anyone been successful in the repossession process? Yes. There's going to be resistance because we're dealing with what?
Lack of knowledge.
Lack of knowledge.
And they just don't want to acquiesce because it's documented.
Well, the reality is they don't want to acquiesce, but then they can't rebut the claim. They don't want to acquiesce, but they can't rebut the claim. So it's kind of like they have acquiesced because they can't rebut the claim, but because we've allowed them to get so big and buy so many things that the lien, that's the reason why the liens are so important, because the lien is going to, think about the finance as a faucet. Right now it's turned on, and every time we lean, it turns the faucet off. And then eventually that faucet gets shut down after 90 days maturity. So it's shut down after 90 days maturity, and the faucet stopped. And then all of the equipment and all the little things that they like to play with, all of a sudden gets repoed by the banks as well as the other corporations that fund them. Okay? Because when we think about the police department, it's funded by who? It's funded through the sheriff's department, through the county. Those are all corporations. The sheriffs of those corporations control, and those third-party interlopers, which we think are law enforcement police departments, are under them. So they listen to that corporate body head. So once the faucet gets shut off, all of them start scattering like roaches, literally. Because once the cars is going, like now you'll see in different places where they still try to like, look, it's the only way I know how to eat, so this is all I know. Now they go in private conveyances trying to pull you over. I've seen this. I witnessed on social media. So Moore's got to realize it took 4 years to get here in this uncomfortable place. And contrary to popular belief, the temples, the Moorish science temples that are supposed to be doing this, the consulate is a Moorish science temple. Chartered by who? Who chartered the consulate and the government? Who chartered it? Who is the government and the consulate?
People.
The people, right? And as people put faith and credit into their government, it starts being able to do things. The more and more Moors get it together and unite and stop acting like clubism and clubism. Once they stop doing that and come together, this happens way faster. So all of these Moorish science temples that's going on public forums talking about they're not a part of this Moorish group, if you ever hear that, lean them, because that's a violation of every covenant. They know you can't war against your own people is a violation of all the laws, and you want to put them out of business because we all should be in harmony. So if you see other temples like Moorish Science Temple 43, Moorish Science Temple 43 put a post up saying, we don't have any problems traveling abroad. We have passports, we have this, and then you have all these Moorish organizations saying, oh, we got this, oh, we got that. Well, why you ain't bringing it to your nation? That's the first and the only question you need to ask any so-called Moorish entity. Why you ain't bringing it to the Moorish National Republic federal government or the Moorish American Consulate? I suggest every Moorish American national put that on the table of every Moorish organization while we ain't united and working together to bang the beast. Why we ain't doing that? That's all I've got to do. I'm doing this way because it's the only way it's going to work. It's not working any other way. It's not going to work with your little clubs. Your clubs ain't going to work. Because here's the thing. Oh, we don't get any issues. Why? Moors, why don't they get issues? Why do they have these so-called privileges? They don't have the privileges because of what? I mean, they have privileges because of what? I mean, they don't get messed with. Why ain't get messed with?
Because they're helping suppress the Moors from waking up.
So because they help and suppress the Moors, because they're in bed with the hypothecators. They're conversos. That's why. And if they're not conversos, prove it in your literature. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say. I don't do what people say. I want to see the work. Let me see your documents and see if you are registered with the so-called corporate state. Let me see if you got a 501c3. Let me see if within your language you talking about Moors or citizens of the United States of America. You let me know what you're saying, because I don't care what you're saying. I want to know what the documents say. The documents ain't gonna lie. You gonna lie. Documents can't lie. You can lie, because the proof is in what? The pudding. Like when you eating pudding and you looking at it, and then you look on the back of the recipe box, you know exactly what's in it. Because what you did? What'd you do? You read, right? You didn't hear from the man down the street like that pudding got pork in it. You ain't had to go by what he said. You could go right on the back of the box and read it, right? You can go right on the back of the box and read it, right? Just like how Amor asked me on social media, this is another government like any other government. I heard, I'm sorry, let me put that on there. I heard this is like any other government issuing social securities to subjugate the people. And all I heard was ignorant, 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 ignorant. can validate everything I say. I ain't got no problems validating everything I say, and I want you to get into the habit of doing that, because that's what the ancestry you come from, validating everything people say to you, because followers are why we're in the problems we're in, because everybody looking for that one person to lead them out of slavery. Guess what's going to lead you out of it? Getting your damn grid done. Your grid is from slavery to freedom. And the only way to that freedom and that promised land is getting it done. And when you get it done, your competency level's on fleet mode. And it's not about talking on social platforms all the time. You got to get in the community and talk to Moors, because that's where your support is coming. When I go back to my domicile, I'm going 40 deep. And y'all gonna be there, because I'm gonna command you to be there. And even if you think you're gonna go to the JOB and not come, guess what? I'm gonna make them ancestors come and talk to you. They gonna talk, and they got the loudest voices. They got people jumping off bridges, putting guns in their face. They do that to their own people. Don't get it twisted. You ain't acting right, getting on board with the council and with the nation, and you want to create this clubism because you so colonized in your mind? Yeah, I'm good. I'll see you on the next trip. I'm good with it. Don't matter if you close to me, far away from me. None of that matters. And I gotta honestly say, I am so glad those people behind me left. They were so loud. And I was being loud and inflecting my voice on purpose to make them so uncomfortable to live, and they never did. I couldn't agree with you. Some people can really tune out and not know what's going on. It's funny. I think it's weird. Oh, you gotta have a certain frequency to be able to do that. I'm just saying. Anyway, so where we at? Certain regions have constitutional abiding sheriffs, because smart sheriffs know what's coming, and they gonna align themselves, and they gonna do what they want to. They do what they need to do. Why are they gonna do it? Why are they doing it? Why are they constitutional, even though the atmosphere has been so corporate? Why you think? Why? Oh, really? They smart. That sounds like they smart, or weird, because weird means smart. They're doing it because they want someplace to live, and security and protection. That's smart. Why else you think? Huh? They want to do what? They want to keep their positions. Smart. Yup. They want to keep their positions. They don't want to go into POW camps because people are ignorant of the law. There you go. Anything else? Yeah. Huh?
Aren't some of them elected and some of them appointed? Aren't some of them elected and some of them appointed?
Now, that's a great question you asked, because we have a document called... Where did I put it? I think I emailed it to myself, so let me go check the email. Because I don't want to be... I know what it says, but I'm going to read it anyway, because that's just who I am. I come from an accounting background, y'all. So I validate. Alright, give me a second. We have a document. Y'all tell us, because we're going to start having forums where y'all vote. Because y'all need to talk to us, and we need to talk to you. And we need to start organizing in that body politics, because, you know, in a corporate venue, they think they be voting for somebody. Tell you, people ignorant. I'll be honest, ignorant too. Try to act like they not. They've been benefiting off of the so-called slave patrol, fraud, and like they law enforcement. Okay, this ain't even trying to come on. All of a sudden. All right, here we go. It's called the Universal Affidavit of Delegation of Authority for Sharifian Officers. Universal Affidavit of Delegation of Authority for Sharifian Officers. I'm going to read that one more time. Universal Affidavit of Delegation of Authority for Sharifian Officers. Okay? This is a document that's still in production, but it'll be done in less than 24 hours, because there's 3,000 constitutional sheriffs needing the delegation to act on our writ of executions. Some of them are smart. They're doing it already, and they're backing their policy enforcers all the way up, because they know they don't have jurisdiction, and they know they have to do what the people say, because they don't want to start jumping off buildings. Not on purpose, jumping off buildings, just like, I'm moving and I don't want to be doing this, but I don't have a choice. Just saying. So this is a document, and I'm going to read the document. It's only one page, but it's going to increase because we have to talk about subject status. We have to give a remedy, Moors, to the Albions that are assisting in the re-establishment of the Moroccan Empire, as well as we have sons. I ain't going there yet. I'll go later. The Universal Affidavit of Delegation of Authority for all constitutional Sharifian officers, issued by the people, which is you, of who are the Moorish National Republic Federal Government. Notice the agent is notice the principal, notice the principal is notice the agent. Nothing in this document is consent to be in any jurisdiction other than the jurisdiction of our ancestral inherited estate. This Universal Affidavit of Delegation of Authority is hereby granted to the undersigned United States Republic citizen by the people who are the Aboriginal, Indigenous, Sovereign, de jure Moorish National Republic Federal Government. The authority of this affidavit is granted by virtue of the sovereign, eternal, reigning, supreme authority of the people who are the said government, which is the highest authority on earth and supersedes all other United States oaths, covenants, treaties, and contracts. The holder to which this Moorish National Republic Federal Government Delegation of Authority is granted is hereby bound by the supreme laws of the land. Therefore, all other codes, laws, statutes by any state or are notwithstanding. The jurisdiction that this delegation of authority remains within is the Aboriginal, Indigenous, ancient, ancestral, sovereign jurisdiction of the estate of the Moorish American people of North America. All land, all resources, and all commercial contracts are in the said jurisdiction. Article 3 and Article 6 of the Constitution for the United States of America, 1789, 1791, are hereby granted sovereign consideration where matters of foreign states arise. By consent and signature on this affidavit, the holder of this document is in the service of all the Moorish American nationals at North America under the supreme laws of the land. And then there's a highlighted black bolded section that says delegation of authority granted by the Moorish National Republic Federal Government and the Moorish American nationals too. Now this specific document is going to Jerry L. Sanders, who's acting in a corporate capacity that's been dissolved through the liens that I've processed for him, as well as the county of Delaware for their fraudulent unlawful activities, as well as for the simple fact that when he showed me his so-called card, no oath and no delegation of authority from any actual de jure body, but a corporation, letting you know he doesn't have jurisdiction to do anything. Expired January 1st, 2019. So the document that he showed me, which I took a picture of and I'll upload it later. I gotta get it off my phone. I'll upload it later, but it proves that he's a corporate employee under the citizens of the county of Delaware of Pennsylvania, which means what? He's a corporate employee with no authority and no standing, but yet the so-called police department, who are not law enforcement, are going to come out when and if they say. And just like Chipwood, was it Michael Chipwood? What's his name? Chipwood, whatever Chipwood's first name is, I think it's Michael Chipwood, of the superintendent of the Upper Darby Police Department, specifically told his employees, don't let nobody into that domicile. So we had resistance yesterday, unlawful resistance yesterday, and we went to that office that he was not at on Saturday and spoke to his lieutenant, which was Michael. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, so I'm not even going to try. And the point that I'm trying to make is that they gave directives and they don't have any lawful standing or status to do any of the things that they've done. Hence why they're all liened in 30 days, 60 days, they're going to start feeling it. All those conveyances that they have going to get repoed, and they're going to have to cut their manpower down, but they're going to try to act like it's downsizing. But it's literally called you've been liened.
So who issues the repo? Who issues the repo?
The repossession?
Yeah.
What you mean who issues it?
Because we know the lien goes in place.
Oh, shit.
The sheriff is not being cooperative, or is it?
The sheriff's proving that his delegation is to a corporation that employs him. He's saying, which most sheriffs don't realize, if they're de jure and they're appointed and they actually take oaths and have delegation of authority from an actual state, will let you know that what they are and what their authorities are. He told us what his authority is, but on the documents that I just read, we're going to give them all of the ones that are de jure and acting in a constitutional capacity, the authority, the delegated authority by the Moorish American nationals to assist all Moors to secure and defend and protect their estate. Because all of the so-called third-party interlopers, which are so-called police departments, which are not law enforcement, are going to be doing our bidding. And they're going to be protecting, unlike all the activities that they've been doing recently, has been hypothecating in human trafficking. You get what I'm saying? So this delegation of authority order is going to go to Jerry L. Sanders. I'm going to hand deliver it tomorrow.
So then I shouldn't.
And he's going to have an opportunity to sign it. And when he signs it, that's going to give him the authority to operate in a de jure fashion under the supreme laws of the land to support and defend. But at that level, if they don't do what they're supposed to do, because there's 3,000 of them that will, and that is waiting for the offer.
Okay, so then.
Let me finish.
Okay.
It's waiting for the offer. So once they get the offer, the 3,000 that are in harmony will go after the ones that are not. And this is going to be the part where the Albions are already fighting each other because some want to be de jure. They created a unlawful enterprise, and many of them within that unlawful enterprise is realizing is being slowly choked. But they got so-called guns and weapons, and they got weapons. So it's going to be a fight between them, but we're not to get involved because it's between them. Because who should fix the mess? Right? The Albion should fix the problem because they created the problem by hypothecating and lying about everything. So they should fix the problem. So, and they're going to. The constitutionally and lawful people under Donald Trump that nobody likes, through the ICE agents and all those other lovely authorized individuals to get rid of all of the problems, are going to do that very thing. So they're going to be fighting each other, and like I said, they're already doing it. What happened down in Oregon? Who read the article about Oregon, where all of the corporate administrators of Oregon have been seized? I don't know if they've been seized, but they've been called in, and all of the so-called police departments have to answer the call. So now it's a war between the two. You got the people who listened to what their upperlings said, because that's what Michael, the lieutenant of the Upper Darby Police Department, said to me. He's like, I do as I'm told. I was like, so you don't have to see any orders, and you can't validate or invalidate whether or not an order is lawful or not. So you're holding yourself to something that is going to affect not only you, but all of your children. Because once the liens are processed, they're not getting removed. And the removal of the liens happen how? By the removal of them off the land. And we get another corporation or a sovereign Moorish American who wants to do that business, let's say, for instance, if it's a business worth having, because many are not. And if you realize, back in the day, we didn't have policy departments on our land. We didn't even have sheriff's departments at one point, even though we authorized them in 1909 to collect taxes for the government, our government, lawful. We're talking lawfulness. They've hypothecated and corporatized everything, y'all. And that's what is being leaned out of business. The corporate pieces that they never had the jurisdiction to establish or create. Did I answer that question?
As you're preparing this document, so should I just wait?
Wait on what?
Since I'm having resistance with my sheriff.
He's not
so
your sheriff, but go ahead.
Well, yeah. So the sheriff in that region, I was looking into going to lean his office. I'm having some issue finding it online.
His office? It's under the county where you domicile near.
Yeah, no,
it's probably a building right inside of there.
I think they have it hidden.
They ain't got it hidden. I bet y'all find it right now if I look. But we can do it offline and see.
Yeah.
But there's no such thing because guess what? They're a public office, right? They're claiming a public office.
Yeah.
If you Google his name only, it'll come up.
Yeah, no, I get all of that information, but the actual premises,
the building where the
building
sheriff's at,
which is the actual, it's inside the court. You can't get the deed information
for the property.
Yeah.
You can go right into the recorder of deeds to get it.
So that's what I'm gonna have to do.
Yeah, that's where you get it.
Limited to give me the information. So
Say,
I said Monday.
what information do you need online? besides just the so-called presumed donor.
So are we supposed
And
to
the
fact
PA,
check to
the
know
P,
the actual deed? Because where's
the deeds are fraud. You don't even care what they say.
so don't want.
All you need is the location and the latitude and longitude of the
well,
location,
that's a step
and they're going to give you the PAR ID number,
Yeah.
and you put that in parentheses as well as the latitude and longitudes, whatever information you can get, you add that. That's
Because
an
sometimes I've seen when you check the basic records, it says one owner's name, but then when you look at the actual deed, it has additional names. So I've included those additional names.
You can do that.
onto the lien.
You can do
So that's
that.
why I was trying to find
But keep in mind
the
when you send out that writ of repossession, they have to answer it. If nobody answers your claim, because that website has the current so-called owner, any additional owners don't necessarily matter, because the one that's on the website is supposed to be the primary. Those other ones are secondary. And if if he or she is presuming to have the primary ownership, and they don't challenge it, and they can't challenge it, then what would that mean?
Yeah,
They acquiesce.
Since he's being, in the position that he is.
And how is he interfering? What is he doing?
He's not corresponding with me at all.
Then none of them will.
Yeah, I know. So that's why I said, well, okay.
You're gonna walk in there. You're gonna automatic.
You know, so,
Don't even have a conversation with them. You're gonna lean them automatic
Yeah, so that's what I'm doing.
because you're leaning them out of their corporate business.
Okay, so I don't have to necessarily wait for this document.
Hell no.
Okay.
But this document's gonna be out in 24 hours. It's not dependent of that, but the reality is maybe we should add that delegation of authority document to the repossession when we're sending, and that one document goes out to the sheriff, but that should be coming from the viziers.
Okay.
So we're going to do those. If you need them, we're going to do those.
Okay.
I feel we're going to do it for all the 3,000. I don't know how many total sheriffs that are claiming to be in that capacity, but we're going to need the Moors to assist in giving delegations of authorities out to them. But that it also includes giving them subject status as well.
So
That's only in good behavior, and if they ever violate, they automatically it's a privilege that can be revoked at any time. Yeah, because they're subjects. Yeah, under our corporate status. Yep. It's the same thing. Do we have any questions? So the next time I go into, but we're going to kick it up a level. We're going to give all the constitutional sheriffs that want that appointment the opportunity. So individuals operating as sheriffs, even if it's in a lawful or unlawful capacity, the government is appealing to those who are de jure. And as the prophet said, the European is helping, why aren't you? So we want to help the Europeans that need the assistance of the Moorish National Republic in authority as the delegation of authority as the Moorish National Republic federal government. And that is only that those appointments are going to be to stand up the constitutional laws and to assist and sign y'all writ of executions. Mind you, we don't need them to sign them at all. This is to assist in the peaceful transition of our Moorish estate from individuals who've done so much. We're gonna need that support, and it's not because we need it. It's because they need. This is gonna be what they need to stand down and be like, okay, now we really gotta move, because our people ain't even our human traffickers are not even helping to keep us safe, because that whole infrastructure, that whole police department was only put in place to protect those Albions and those corporate employees while they were domiciling here on the land. And you didn't know that, because if you read the definition in their oath, is to the corporation. And all of those corporations have contracted them through those counties to help them secure their fraudulent and illegal and unlawful activities here at Morocco. I said a lot. Did y'all hear what I said? Am I playing? I'm gonna bang that ass, and I just wanted to say that. I'm sorry, I had to say it. Until the bones bleed. Does anybody have questions? Because we're peaceful. We want what's ours. We're doing the administrative functions to assist the Moors in getting that, and not only are they going to get that, they're going to get the lawful processes and competencies to claim their estate, and you should never, Moors, feel uncomfortable, feel in fear of losing anything on your land. In every Albion, if you de jure and you want a place to stay here lawfully, protected by the government, you bet, get in line and not be a thorn in our side, because we pluck thorns out and we step on them. You have a duty. You have a pledge that your forefathers did. That pledge is the Declaration of Independence, and you cannot claim that or even celebrate that on the 4th of July if you're not behaving in that manner or fashion. And if you have a banner, you're claiming to be upholding the Constitution that banner was meant for. That banner was meant to give you passport, It's a passport. And it comes with agreements. It comes with contracts, treaty agreements. So you can't sit here and celebrate on 4th of July the independence of you if you're violating the supreme documents that assisted and transitioned that for you and gave you a status and standing, which you damn sure no longer have, which is why we're telling you to pull them down. Pull the banners down, because you've breached your duties. You breached them. You have to pull them down. You're commanded to pull them down. And every property we see with them on there that ain't got subject paperwork, because that's only a passport for those not violating. The Moor's going to decide. I'm not deciding, I'm the messenger. But we as a unit, we as the people will decide how we do with aliens and immigrants. And we'll start voting on these types of things as soon as we can. As soon as all of these other Moorish organizations get together and stop being a thorn in the nation's side. Come with your plates of food to sit and break bread with your brothers and your sisters to eradicate colonialism on our land by being a part of your government, standing it all the way up, supporting one another, and assisting one another as they claim land. Because the sheriffs are going to be coming in, are going to be getting delegation of authority to protect the people, which are the Moorish American nationals, the true Americans at Morocco, and the only Americans at Morocco. Islam? So, well, we got to think about that. That's a great, like a top sheriff, like a national sheriff. It was brought to my attention, maybe we need to elect or appoint our sheriff, a top sheriff. He's got to be Asiatic. He's got to be in his proper person to organized or oversee all of the other local sheriffs that are of other nationalities or other statuses. So that's a great idea. Moors, who do you want to elect to be the top national sheriff of the Moorish National Republic federal government? He has to have a background in that stuff. He has to have a background in it. I don't know what the background looks like. I'm just not even going to sit here and act like this is Son's area. Sons. This your area. Mothers uphold, bring up the government. You protect, defend, and secure it. We stand it up. You protect, defend, and secure it. Let me say it one more time. We stand it up. You protect, defend, secure it. I'm calling on all sons. Y'all can join football groups. Y'all can join all types of things. I ain't even gonna go there. Y'all can join all types of groups. So when it comes to your nation, you be scared. Y'all be scared and all up in your feelings. When it comes to protecting your mothers, your daughters, your sisters, how you scared to protect your own nation? But you'll elect to be a soldier of the Army, Navy, Coast Guard. I mean, I could go on and on and on. This is where you need to be protected and defended. And that goes straight to you, sons, over there in the NOI under Louis Farrakhan. Why ain't you here protecting this Moabite sister? I command you, Louis Farrakhan, to appoint at least 50. You opened up a chapter down here to help assist us so we can appoint a sheriff, a national sheriff, and start assisting in the peaceful transition of the Moorish estate, because we're claiming our estate regardless if you get out the house. You either gonna get out peacefully and walk your butt out with time to prepare, or you gonna get thrown out after we give you a certain amount of time. We're gonna be honorable and peaceful because that's who we are. We were honorable and peaceful when we gave you the Declaration of Independence and the standing and status that you destroyed because of your low vibrating butts. It's our job, it's our duty to protect Mother Earth and all that dwells within it or on her. Islam? So, yes, Louis Farrakhan, I need my 100 NOI soldiers here in 5 minutes. I ain't even gonna give you a day. You gotta get on the plane right now. I'm not playing. I'm just gonna let the mother and divine energy deal with y'all if y'all don't come through, because I heard that y'all were supposed to be already being on deck for that, but I still got detained on the 25th of March for 25 crueling days in a POW camp. And Moors all over the continent are being violated, and you're not there to support your people. That's where you're needed. That's where you're commanded by the Moorish National Republic Federal Government, the Moorish American Consulate, and sons that are there. You don't need his permission to come. Just telling you. Your mother is calling you. Come on with it, as somebody would say that I do adore, but at the same time, I ain't gonna say no names, hint, hint. But I like to send stuff. So for you Moors, here's a disclaimer that I put there. For you Moors that are acting like the characters in The Wizard of Oz, like you, Dorothy, bumped your head and you don't know what's going on. You like twitching, or you the scarecrow, or you the cowardly lion, or you the heartless tin man. If those represent you Moors, declared or undeclared, get your little butts over in the sand casts, the sand bin, and go play. But stay out of our way. Come on with it. I ain't playing. The Sharon you gonna see soon is gonna turn into straight fire. And when she do that, I'm just saying, I'm warning the whole nation. I'm igniting everything and everybody who ain't got the right frequency. I'm just saying. And we doing this for who, ultimately? Who we doing this for, y'all? We're doing this for the babies. We got to hold this up for the babies, because guess what? Grandma and grandpa, great-grandma and grandpa, they was out to lunch. I don't know what the hell y'all been doing. I don't know what I was doing for 36 years. But all I want to say is, get your butt out the way, too. Just go there, make some chicken, make some greens, some potatoes, feed us when we need to come in and get recharged. And I said chicken, and somebody probably went low vibrating because I said chicken. I was just using those southern dishes we like to eat. Southern dishes we like to eat. We're doing it for our progeny. Our progeny shouldn't be running around here scared to do anything on their land. And their kids shouldn't be running around with free egress and ingress to do any type of thing and feel so comfortable on our land when our people are uncomfortable. I have a problem with that. If I'm uncomfortable, guess what? Who has to be uncomfortable? Who gotta be uncomfortable if we uncomfortable? Everybody gotta be uncomfortable. If I can't sleep, you can't sleep. If I can't eat, you can't eat. So it behooves you, if you see a poor person on the street and he's Asiatic, give him a sandwich. Matter of fact, give him the keys to your domicile. I command it. So do we have any questions before we end this live broadcast? Because we usually end at 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock. Any questions? None? I bang that ass? I'm done banging it. Bang, 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 bang. Wait a minute, they used to have these little monkeys, right? They used to have these little monkeys with the little, what do they call them at? The tambourines, like bang, bang, bang. We're going to start doing that. See, bang, 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 bang. You gotta laugh to stop from crying. You gotta laugh. It's so funny. But it's not We have to laugh and we have to come together and do the things that we need to do, y'all. Period, point blank. Get the grids done, because the grids is for your salvation and your spirit. As you get it done, your vibratory rate gonna keep increasing, and you're gonna be sitting here like, I ain't slept in 3 days because I've been sitting here too busy writing liens. I ain't slept in 3 days. I'm telling y'all, get it done. And I had something else to tell you. You want to know when you're cohabitating with the beast? I said I wasn't gonna say this, but I'm gonna say it because the spirit is telling me to do it. To find out if you're sleeping with a human or a humanoid or what do we call ourselves, y'all? Because Asiatic, there's one sure way to know. You gotta feel them on their back to see if you feel a hump. Because there was a spot where a tail used to be when they were born, and they cut them as soon as they born. I'm just saying. You got to feel back there right above the buttocks to see if see if a tail was there. This is the best way to know if you're dating outside your nationality. It's a bone there where a tail used to be. If you feel it, you might want to say, hey, I'm good, y'all. I'm good. Bye, Becky. Deuces, Becky. I'm out. And just say, deuces, Becky. I'm out. So you saw those pictures where you saw the babies with the tails? Now, sometimes, some people let them grow natural. Like, I'm going to be me. I'm going to be myself. And that's good, because when you're about to do some stuff with people and they go naked on you and they got a tail, yeah, you're going to duck and you're going to cut and roll. You're going to cut and roll. I'm just saying. But now they cut them off when you babies, you don't know. All you gotta do is feel in the back and you'll see, and you'll feel a bone. If you feel a bone, yeah, baby, you're albion. Even if you got melanated skin, you're an albion. And you might want to say, look, I don't perform bestiality, so I'm out. I'm just saying, y'all, we gotta laugh at this stuff. I mean, shucks, we've been all involved in this stuff for how many years? We all been involved some way or another. Give yourself a break. You ain't know. Pax it to more. Any questions? Because I'm about to get off this live feed. Who laughing? Who laughing at me? I know it's funny. Gotta laugh, stop from crying. Peace and love, y'all. Pax it to more. And who gonna say the mantra? I am Sharon Tracey Gale Bay. Impropria persona, sui juris, improprio solo, improprio heres. At all times and at all points in time. I am the descendants of the great pharaohs of Kemet and the Moabites and the Canaanites. I am the law and I am the government, and I command you state your name and nationality for the record on the record without further comment. You do not have jurisdiction over me, and I command you set me free, return my property, and cease and desist all actions against me, as this is my notice of intent to lien you. If you do not do as commanded, and set me free. Notice the agent, notice the principal, notice the principals, notice the agent. No United States citizen has jurisdiction over any Moorish American national. 18 USC 911. United States citizen doesn't exist, and anyone claiming to be will be subject to heavy fines and penalties by the government. It's only $3,000 or 3 years in prison by the corporate state, but we give heavier fines. And we might just deport you. What else? What else? So when you're going to these fake venues claiming to have jurisdiction, claiming to be government, claiming to be a part of a state with sovereignty and all these things, say that mantra. Get into the habit of saying nothing else. Get into the habit of saying nothing else. Just saying that mantra. I know it's difficult because we like to talk, because we know we right. We like to sit here and get it all in. We got to stop. Just stick to the mantra, because we know our energy get high. And we just start talking, and half of the time we don't even know what we say, because the spirit is talking. Sometimes we gotta calm the spirit down. Just say the mantra and be done, and stop. Don't answer any questions. You can never have a lawyer or never have an attorney, because they're attorneys, and their first oath is to the corporate state, and their job is to submit you to jurisdiction. And you're supposed to be able to present yourself, and you're supposed to be able to be competent in that activity. So again, only the mantra, y'all. Don't say nothing else. Don't answer to no straws. Don't answer to no Ms. or Mr. Don't answer to no so-called name, no residence, or no address, or even age, because you don't know when you were born. You absolutely don't know. And it's impossible for you to know when you were born unless you had that competency at that time, which none of us had. We couldn't even talk. Islam, pax that to more. Anybody else want to do the mantra? No? Do we want to give a do we want to do some activities? What we want to do? Do y'all want to do some activities? We got the twin. I mean, if it's too hot, I get it. But y'all let me know. All the brothers gonna come and do some stuff, y'all. Let's get this up. Let me see if I can. I don't know where y'all going. The twins. We call them the twins. You see that on my eye? The twins. I busted a blood vessel. So I'm going to switch it around, and the twins are going to do us some stuff before we go and adjourn. So speak your appellation. I am.
Islam, everybody. I am Tihama Tarael. Islam, everybody. I am Jericho Tarael.
Islam.
Today we're going to do some workouts. All thanks to this right here. This is apple, mint leaf, and ginger juice.
Oh, got ginger in it.
Give us the, the energy, strength to give you guys, do what we're doing, give you guys cool moves you love to see so much. So, check it out. Okay, we're going to play clear a little space right here. I'm going to do something real small, real quickly. My twin brother all the way from the same stomach. So the energy to do this stuff, it takes a lot. So our juice gives us the energy. See, I found myself here. Okay. So that takes strength, balance, concentration, flexibility too as well. Because without those, you wouldn't be able to hold yourself or let alone have the balance to sustain yourself and not fall and break your face. Now, another thing is definitely we gotta have, let me see. Alright, so let me see. Okay. I think you should have been together. So ladies and gentlemen, one thing, do not fear, because that'll slow you down, especially when it comes to these type of things or anything. So, breathe easy, take your time and know what you want to do. All in the fingers.
I don't know how you doing that. I can't even do it against a wall for more than 5 seconds. Look at that. Wow.
Yeah, that's good in touch, but you very cool.
Wow.
Sorry about that.
Islam.
So ladies and gentlemen,
The sun came and shined out. Islam.
stretching, all that good stuff, working out, all that good stuff. 3 times a day, and then practice, and that's don't even gotta be no real strenuous workouts. You can just start small, work your way up. Simple push-ups and stuff like that. But for those who are on a level where they think that is too easy, well, we got simple workouts for them too. So.
Oh, wow. I can't do that.
And for the wrist. Of course, all peace and love.
That I can do. That part I can. There we go.
You don't gotta. You can just.
Islam. Do you got your business card out?
Oh yeah.
So we can put a copy on a Facebook. So people, if they want to come, they do training at what park do y'all do the training at? You all late.
Sharon.
Oh, you got it? Oh, here we go. We put it up there. Let's get. Wait a minute.
Yeah,
David.
Salvation Army
Second.
or Simon Grassfield.
All right, now turn it around. Now turn it around.
Locations for now. And
With your hand, you cover. Yeah. There we go. There we go. Facto to Amor. Peace and love. So we are going to end this live broadcast, and everybody could say, hey. Everybody want to say, hey. Say, hey, Mo. Say, hey, Mo. Say, hey, Mo. Facto to Amor, y'all. Peace and love. Have a great day.